While today will be another busy session, investors are awaiting what happens after the market closes, of course. That is when Nvidia will report its Q4 earnings. And joining me now is Angelo Zino. He's the SVP and Technology Equity Analyst at CFRA. Angelo, welcome back.
Great, thanks for having me, Ashley.
Of course. So what is the biggest question Nvidia needs to answer this afternoon?
Well, I think what investors want to know most about is the demand trajectory that's out there, right? The sustainability of the recent surge in demand. I mean, we all just saw an enormous Q4 earnings season from all the hyperscalers. All the hyperscalers significantly ramped up their CapEx spend for 2026, more than I think most had anticipated, more than we anticipated, and essentially leveraging all their excess free cash flow on CapEx at this point in time, something we expect them to do again in 2027. I think the concern in the market right now is how sustainable is that in the foreseeable future. So we're going to want to hear comments from Jensen as far as that is concerned. I think he'll do a good job explaining it. But I think more importantly is going to be their GTC conference in March, where I'd expect to kind of get better clarity in terms of his vision in terms of the total addressable market opportunity through the end of the decade.
All right, and Nvidia is the world's largest company by market cap. How significantly do the company's earnings impact the markets as a whole?
I mean, it's critical, right? I mean, to your point, it's the largest company in the world by market cap. So, it's important from that perspective. They have an outsized impact in terms of the actual earnings trajectory also for the tech sector. A big reason for that is when you start looking at the margin profile of this company, you're talking about 75% gross margins on a company like this. You look at the revenue expectations here, not only for this quarter, but as we kind of look here over the next couple of quarters, you're looking at north of 65% year-over-year growth still from the world's biggest company here in the January quarter. Again, for the guidance in the April quarter, expecting another 60% plus year-over-year growth rate. So, you start looking at the expectations out there and the importance of it. It's extremely important, not to mention what it means for the rest of the AI supply chain, the rest of the ecosystem, right? All the chip makers out there essentially sell now into NVIDIA's AI-based servers. And then, of course, what NVIDIA does and who they sell into, and that's all the hyperscalers. So in many respects, NVIDIA continues to be the linchpin for this AI trade because they have, they touch essentially all aspects of the tech ecosystem.
And how would you evaluate the current state of the AI space?
I think right now it's pretty good. I mean, there are a lot of different aspects of the AI trade we can talk about, right? I mean, there is the AI infrastructure build out right now, and that remains very healthy. I mean, 2024 and 2025 were years where we saw AI infrastructure CapEx spend increase north of 45%. This is actually a year where we were going into the year thinking we were going to get about 30% growth. But given the higher CapEx spend announcements we saw from all the hyperscalers, we're now looking for growth of about 60% or so in 2026. So that bodes well for NVIDIA and the expectations here as we go into the print. I would then say also, what this also means is when you think about the hyperscalers increasing CapEx, it also means you're going to have more capacity for AI workloads as you get into later this year and into 2027. I'd say 2 years sooner than we anticipated in terms of the spending this year relative to where we thought it was going to be. And that means essentially that the greater capacity availability means the OpenAIs, Anthropics of the world are going to be able to roll out a lot more products at a faster clip. And that does bode poorly to some extent for the software trade at this point in time, which is why I think you've seen some of these software names somewhat challenged in nature.
All right, and in our last minute together, what AI-related developments do you believe will be the talk of the tech sector as soon as next earnings season?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I mean, I think we're going into a really important time as far as AI is concerned. March, you've got NVIDIA's GTC conference. That's going to be critical, probably the most important event of the year. And then as you go thereafter, you're looking for the April to June time span, the developer conferences from all the major hyperscalers. So Microsoft, Amazon, and Google with their cloud event will all have developer conferences where you're going to see those next gen product rollouts, and of course, then it'll culminate with Apple in early June, and that's going to be important because that's when they're finally supposed to demonstrate the AI Siri integration that's going to roll out later this year. So you've got a lot in store here over the next 3 to 4 months, which really can change the landscape in the game and put AI in the hands into a lot more enterprise applications and into the consumer.
All right, thank you, Angelo. Zino, SVP and Technology Equity Analyst at CFRA.
All right, thanks for having me.